Good morning and welcome to Better Thyself segment of Dr. Lamba's Awakening Call. Whatever you may be, wherever you may be, the most important thing is how you communicate. You are perceived from what you say, how you say, but the immediate impact is the use of the words that you employ. And some words, especially verbs, have a negative effect. Now, you may not be sure, but I do remember still. I was 11 years old. I got a prize and allocation contest. One of the books was Conversations with Vivekananda. And in that he had written that the Indians do not write in a strong language. Their language is weak because they use too many words. Instead of saying, I went there, they would say, I had gone there. The use of is, was, were is quite predominant. Yes, that does weaken your language. But you might have seen there's the smallest words and phrases that shape how you are perceived. Perceived not only around the office, but all over, whether it's a social get together, whether it's a company meeting, whether it's a management meet, or whether it's a seminar. Your job title is immaterial. And that isn't the only thing that determines how influential you are. You might be CEO and yet perceived to be a weak person. You might be a lowly management trainee, but the language you use can make an impact. Every word you use at work, in personal discourse, every word expresses your confidence, your authority, and to the depth of your knowledge. As a matter of fact, the words that you use are your personal brand. And if you cannot use them properly, your brand would not be established. And mostly, you might not be aware that the verbs that impact your brand. Verbs are the action words that should be the engine of a sentence. Basically, we don't depend on adjectives and the nouns. It's the verbs which we convey the real sense. And not only do they convey, they trip you as well. Overusing certain verbs can make you sound very vague, and that is a disaster for anybody. They can undercut these words, your ability to inspire others, and suggest to the listeners from the top executives and colleagues to your direct reports that you are not really sure of yourself. You are not what you supposed to be. So while there is certainly room for uncertainty in any workplace, if you trim these verbs from your vocabulary, you will be stronger. You will emerge stronger. Now, today I'm going to talk to you about the six verbs which I've seen people use indiscriminately. And the result is that people may not be aware, but inside their brain works and perceive these people who are using these words to be weak. The first word, which is horrible and devastating to anybody, is word think. You are supposed to think, but you're not supposed to use the expression I think. The moment you say I think, anybody listening to you would say, I think we should move ahead with go ahead with this project, and your person will say, well, he's thinking, let him keep thinking, let's move forward. It looks to be very harmless. I know that. You say, I think we should do it, and your boss says, I think you have got a good idea. Both are wrong. Think doesn't sound definitive. It's very subtly, but in an insidious manner, saps the power of whatever follows it. You know, think is derived from an old English word, denken and denken, meaning to consider in the mind, consider, meditate. So, in other words, when you are subtly suggesting that you're still considering the position you are talking about, you are not sure of it. Thinking should precede action. They cannot go hand in hand. You have got to think, formulate a plan, and go ahead. So, the moment you say, I think this should be done, well, you're not sure. Whether it's done or not is more important. And in ordinary conversation as well, I think is a throwaway phrase that doesn't even register on most people. Who is bothered what you think? It's the results which matter. It's very fine to mutter occasionally. I mean, say, but then mutter it, nobody hears it. I think I'll have a coffee with my friend. So you are better off axing any prefatory phrase in the professional setting. Instead of saying, I think, why not say, you have got a good idea. I think you have got a good idea. Or you can say, that's an excellent proposal. You don't have to think to say it's excellent. So if you want to replacement verb instead of think, use like, I'm confident your plan will work. I'm confident that what I say, if implemented, would be useful. So that sort of a thing would reinforce and have a great impact. The second word which you must avoid is need. Suppose your boss says, I need this report as soon as possible. So the boss is undercutting himself or herself. Using the word need conjures up a feeling of dependence on the part of the speaker rather than of obligation or responsibility. I once heard a vice president say to her subordinate, he was my vice president, I need you to do something for me. And I banged the vice president, said, you don't deserve to be the vice presidential chair. The moment you say you need, you are not vice presidential. So the tone of our request sounded pleading rather than empowerment. So simply put, I need make you sound needy. You are a beggar. So what do you say? To project more confidence, use this firm and politely. Please have this report to me by next Friday. Instead of I need this report, please have this report ready. Period. The third word you must avoid is want. Want is practically same as need. It just the speaker is wanting because you want something which you lack. So if you want something, you are lacking that. If you tell person I want you to improve the quality of your work, this is a statement that suggests that the person is not getting what he or she wants, which may mean she isn't. But the better way to get you to say want is to set forth the facts. Your work on this report needs to be of higher quality. Why say I want this to be of better quality? Emphasize on the work. That's the work. So that will put onus on the other person. Similarly, you want a job, a raise or a job. You go and tell your boss, I want a raise. I want a raise. You have made an emotional appeal and signaled your lack of confidence. It's better to bring together a verb of conviction. And you can say, I believe my pay and performance during the last period makes a strong case for the raise. Clear, sharp, without any inhibition. That's what you're saying. The fourth verb, guess. Yes, guess. When you say I guess, You are showing tentativeness. You are showing hesitancy. You are showing lack of conviction. I once heard a senior manager tell the analysis, our best guess is our profit this year will end marginally better. I guess what we are going to do would result better. And there are many ways you could have reframed and reframed it more confidently. Instead of saying, I guess our profit is better, why not say we expect our profits to be better? Or our results have surpassed last year's results. If you're not sure of the results, that's fine. I know it. But why guess? Don't lie or exaggerate. Rather than guess, use the most confident expression you can. Expectation is okay, hope is okay, but guessing, no, it's a no word. Then the fifth word, you must be thinking, well, half a dozen words I'm going to talk. Actually, there are many more, but I selected six to start with, and that is hope. Leaders often begin the statement, I hope, in a management, I hope the country will come out of economic depression. In the business, I hope we'll get better sales. Boss to the employee, I hope you'll be able to take on that assignment. Now, when you say hope, you don't inspire confidence. Hope has a prayer like quality, and prayers may be answered, may not be answered. As a matter of fact, they signify one thing very clearly, that the speaker has little control over the outcome. He is helpless. It shows the helplessness. So, what are the alternatives? Why can't you say, instead of saying hope, say may, you're talking about the sales thing, tell them, I'm looking forward for a bit. I'm looking forward, not hoping. Or the parent can tell the child, not that I hope you will pass. I know, the parent should say, I know you will give it all your own. These statements, without hope, but with assertion, show your confidence in the other person as well. And they are much more empowering. They empower you and empower the listener. So don't use such words like hope and five others. And the last is suppose. That is a terrible word. Suppose. Wow. How can you suppose something? You have got to know. You are having a coffee with a colleague who asks if you are going to an upcoming town hall meeting. And if you answer, I suppose so, you quietly are indicating that it doesn't really matter to you. A. Secondly, you are not really working anywhere, you are not engaged. There is no occasion in your life where conveying your indifference and inertia, the sense of inertia, will improve your influence or authority. Every time, whether as a parent, whether as an elder sibling, whether as a younger sibling, whether as a child, whether as an employee, whether as a businessman, whatever. The moment you display indifference and inertia, that reduces your influence, your authority, and your self confidence. Never say the word suppose. Instead, find something to express your passion. And that, even if it's not the meeting experience itself, no. Yes, I'll definitely be there. I want to hear what the management has got to say. I want to know what this candidate for the election has, what's his agenda, and how he's going to fulfill it. You may not think that this matters when you're talking to a friend, but it does. Do not forget, this word is very close knit, and news travels much faster than you can even be aware of. So if you use the word you repeatedly use, just attitude, I don't really care. It's only a matter of time before your reputation and your influence is going to dive down. Do not forget ever, ever, that language is a powerful force in all your conversation, be it personal, be it family, be it business, or be it just a talk over a cup of tea. But it's a powerful force. And because there are more chances to use them, the small words and phrases you resort to every day can have an outsized impact on your ability to be perceived as an authentic being. If you cut these six words from your lexicon, from your dictionary, from your usage, you will start to notice how your power and confidence starts climbing. And I think that's what you want, don't you? And if you do, if you want to be a better human being, if you want to have more power and confidence in yourself, start doing it today. Start cutting these words. And by cutting these words, you enhance yourself, your capabilities. Thank you.